Corum is foolish to come back, everything to lose, nothing to gain. Now, excuse me. Now, I was someone who was on the side of the argument that Blake Corum probably should have went to NFL because and the main thing comes back to is just to the position he plays, running back. He's already had 1 year with a high, well, actually a year and well, almost 2 years now of having a high usage rate and and tread on his tires, his legs, and eventually it caught up to him. The game before the last game of the year in Illinois. Now it wasn't a catastrophic knee injury like an ACL or an Achilles or something like that, but it was a bad knee injury to require surgery. That absolutely impacts your draft stock. Um, Now he didn't come back for free. He was definitely taken care of by the program and the boosters. However, for the longevity of his career and a possibility of getting that second big contract, which is what all NFL players play for, that's where you get the real money where it should set you up for the rest of your life. It's so hard to do that, man, especially for a running back because teams view them as a dime a dozen and they're drafting a new one every year. It doesn't really matter how good you are because they know that any moment you're one hit away from never being the same player again and need somebody else to take your spot. So I can absolutely understand someone thinking that, man, maybe Blake should have went and he had a really good college career. He did everything he could do. Get to NFL kid, use have the best years you can with your while you still have your good young fresh legs. Um, and you're risking having another potential injury this upcoming year. So I understand what you're saying, Stephen. There, I won't call him foolish, because he didn't come back for free. He didn't come back for free. It was definitely some monetary incentive for him to return. And I've even heard that the money that he's getting through this new NIL deal is probably more money than he would have made his rookie year anyway. So based on where he's probably going to be projected to get drafted. So um, I definitely understand the risk that he's taking on. Blake Name, thank you once again for joining the show. Morris or Olu, yeah, I like that. See, Mike Morris is interesting. He's not one of those guys. If you think about the last couple of years of pass rushers that have been drafted by Michigan, I think about guys like Aiden, Ojabo, Chase, um, Rashawn Gary. He's one of those guys where he's just steady Eddie. He doesn't really look like one of those guys is going to be a game record. Now he's a physical specimen. What was he 6'5", 6'6", 284? Every time he hits somebody, he brings some pain. I mean, we've seen a couple times where I think it was Talia Tavakaloa when he hit him versus Maryland and he pretty much knocked him out the game. I mean, he's a load, but he's one of those guys where I think he played for years. Um, Kind of similar to, who reminds me of, and this could be a terrible comp. I don't know why this guy comes to mind. Um, Gosh, no, I'm struggling with his name. He played for Michigan State. Is playing for the Bucks for years. Guys, help me out here. From Detroit. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? What is his name? I'll come back to it. Any Blake now compared to Wormley, not as powerful but more athletic. I like that. I like that. Chris Wormley. I like that comp. Yeah, not someone who just really not like a great player, but like a really solid player. Chris Wormley played a couple years, I think, with the Ravens. I think a little time with the Cowboys. Maybe you could throw in Taco Charlton in that category as well. Um, yeah, Oliver Timmy, I think, has a chance to be a really a great player in the NFL. I mean, anytime you have an All-American center like that, that's highly intelligent and he elevates your offensive line the way he did this year for Michigan. That's the guy you watch out for. Now, granted, I thought Cesar Ruiz Ruiz, excuse me, was a pretty good center for Michigan as well. But I think Oluwatimi is a better player than him. And I think Caesar was a first round pick by the Saints, wasn't he? Um, I'm not sure if he's still playing center. I think he may have been converted to guard, if I'm not mistaken. But I I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Um, let's see. Yeah, Steven, I agree with this totally. Yeah, Zeke is 27, but the wear and tear of a 37-year-old. Very great, great point. Just think about the see what people have to consider is you just can't look at the number of carries and usage you guys gets at the NFL level. You got to go back to their high school as well, but especially their college days. Guys like Zeke, guys like Corum, guys like he's already had a torn ACL. Dobbins for the Ravens, his time at OSU. These running backs who get a ton of carries, you're starting to see with Derrick Henry. He's a freak of nature, but even he's starting to break down a little bit now for Tennessee. These guys who get 300, 280, 300 plus carries per season in college, by the time they get to the NFL, they're not a normal 22, 21-year-old kid at that point. They got legs more of a 28, 30-year-old as a rookie, right? So it's rare where like they're going to be able to sustain that level of production and athletic ability, after 4 or 5 years, which is why you're seeing the trend even more. And guys like Zeke Stephen, for example, in a way he's declined so quickly after signing that extension with the Cowboys is a more of an incentive for these teams to be like, you know what? No, I'm not signing this kid. I don't care how good he is. Let's draft his replacement year after year. And you're seeing what Pollard now for Dallas. So that's always the risk that these guys like Blake, take when they decide to come back to school and not try to get to the NFL 1 year sooner, uh, because it decreases the chances to get more money down the line. But hey, as a Michigan fan, I'm glad he's back. Um, him in tandem with Donovan's going to be probably the best running back tandem in a nation. Jason, thank you for the super chat. Do you think we'll land Davis in Harbor? I can't comment so much on Harbor, but definitely Jaden Davis. Look, we know that Matt Weiss was his. It's been reported that he was the closest recruiter to him, to Davis. And of course, with this situation happened the way it happened, Matt Weiss was also the quarterback's coach. Um, It's definitely gonna have a huge impact. There's no doubt about it. Um, that's a huge loss of connection and relationship. So now you're talking about this coaching staff having to re-engage with this kid, making sure that that they know that they're both on the same page, and that could be very difficult, especially when things happen so abruptly the way they've happened. Now, I guess what can aid Michigan in the situation is that Matt was let go seemingly for a legal reason, a legal situation, excuse me. So it's not like Michigan did him wrong or something like that. I guess what I'm trying to say is at least it may not come off as of now that Michigan is the bad guy, right? And what you hope, and hope it's not a strategy, is that Davis, he's been on campus a couple times. I think at least 2 times. That he's been sold on the campus on the trajectory of the program, and that's enough to keep him, um, still interested in coming here. But um, I'll say it's 50-50. I really do for Davis. I mean, that's a tough blow. That's a tough blow. Before then, I would say 75-25 that we would have got him before Matt Weiss dismissal. And now I'll put it down to 50-50. And that's a tough one. Jason M, if you're right about Davis being a lock, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Um, it's just, but look, recruiting is all about relationships. It's all about relationships, right? And anytime A player's being recruited by a school and they develop a relationship with that particular coach, and that coach leaves, for whatever reason, it does have an impact, right? Because we don't know what are the reasons why he wants to come here or he's very interested in coming here. So those are the things you have to really kind of think about. And I'm with you. I hope he is a lock, and we can continue to have a successor for when JJ does leave, or maybe a guy who can push JJ. If JJ is not able to correct some of the deficiencies he has in a really good game. He's really good, but he can be great if he works on those deficiencies. But if he can't, and Davis is special, who knows what can happen?